A very good morning to you. Welcome.
Morning, Mike. Good to see you.
Yeah, let's start with the badge of dishonour, as some people are calling it. I mean, it seems to me to be a pretty straightforward thing to want to wear to commemorate the loss of many of your fellows who may have fallen in one way, shape or form because of the violence of our society. But yet, the wokists, it would seem, have declared it to be an unfriendly badge and something that indicates that you might be some kind of crazed right-winger.
Well, it does seem a somewhat bizarre story that's come out over the last few days, as you suggest, Mike. And ultimately, this is a badge, certainly I understand it to be, and a lot of those that I used to work with, which memorialises those that have given the ultimate sacrifice as serving their community and serving their country. And it seems somewhat odd that they wouldn't be allowed to wear it. And my understanding is that there are other badges which are permissible. So, for example, the police Memorial Day badge is permitted, the Help for Heroes badge is permitted, of course, the poppy is permitted as well. So it seems to me slightly odd that the choice was that this badge can't be worn.
Yeah, it only does, because it's got what you can clearly see as a blue line through it, which it sort of refers itself as the thin blue line, doesn't it, which is what the police are known for.
That's right, and it seems to me that the decisions and the choices by the Met here over the last few days, they say that they were merely enforcing the rules that they've got. I think it seems like if that is the case, then the rules probably need to be updated.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's the sort of decision, it would appear, that's been made by the police hierarchy, not because of anything other than a kind of obsession with, in their words, doing the right thing and virtue signalling and not upsetting people. I mean, and to be honest, until I'd seen this controversy, I didn't even know about this badge, really.
No, and, I think the reality is it's very commonly worn by police officers. In fact, I saw that the Chief Constable of Essex Police, who's the national lead for public order policing, has it on his uniform. So it seems like a very strange choice that has been made over the last few days in London.
Yeah, exactly right. So, I mean, what's to be done? I mean, Tory MP Tim Loughton has basically said that the forces of woke are trying to discredit a symbol associated with raising money to help families of those who have fallen in the line of duty. So he's sort of pretty fairly and squarely putting the blame on people like Sir Mark Rowley, who's supposed to be sorting out the police, isn't he?
Yeah, and obviously Sir Mark's been there for, I think, 9 or 10 months now. And certainly what we want to see and what Policy Exchange has been calling for over the last year is real change on the streets of London. We want to see the effect of his leadership on the streets of London. We want to see officers on patrol and making a difference, as you said at the beginning, where we're seeing criminals and thugs on the streets committing crimes. That's the difference we need to see.
Well, that's the problem. I mean, I was saying to Susan Hall there, who's running for mayor, that, there's been some serious stabbing incidents just in the past few days, never mind in the last few weeks and months, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better. And the police say that they're trying to put more officers on the street, but are they doing that?
Well, I think that's the key. We've seen, obviously, a lot of recruitment of police officers nationally over the last 3 years. What we need to be seeing is those officers on the front line making a difference and really, getting into communities and seeing these criminals and these thugs arrested, put before the courts and, after trial, if they're found guilty, sent to prison.
Yeah, Suella Braverman supposedly is going to look into the thin blue line badge scenario, but maybe be better off looking into the conduct, generally speaking, of the police, because it seems as though they were quite quick yesterday to arrest the Just Stop Oil protesters at the Pride March, much quicker than they would normally arrest people who were walking in front of a line of traffic.
Well, one of the things that Policy Exchange we've been calling for, again, for the last year and beyond, is rapid police response to the protests. And one of the things that we have seen in recent months is a real step change, whether it's at the Pride March or actually just on our roads in London, is police officers much more rapidly getting to grips with these protesters. And that is a good thing, because ultimately these people are criminal disruptors. And we've seen some changes in the law which has made this easier for the police. There are other pieces of work that need to be done. So not to be too technical, but there's the Ziegler Amendment or the Ziegler case law, which we need to see overturned.
What does that do?
So this is it's quite a technical piece of case law, but essentially it means that if you block a road as part of a protest, you can claim that there is a reasonable excuse as part of your protest, if that's what you're doing. And that really can be very, very difficult for the police then to take action. What we need to see is the government dealing with that Ziegler case law very specifically. And I think that would really untie the hands of the police in dealing with this.
Right. And do you think that they're going to try and disrupt Wimbledon? I mean, it's not so easy to disrupt Wimbledon as perhaps it was to disrupt Lord's, but they do seem to be able to get access to tickets for all sorts of things because they've got plenty of money.
I think it's a very real risk, and the police will be alive to it. And there is, of course, even before this year, a very significant policing operation goes into Wimbledon. If you've been lucky enough to get tickets and get down there, you will see police officers patrolling the grounds, patrolling outside, and of course the stewards, as you see on your screen now. There is a very significant policing operation, and I have no doubt that the Met will be very alive to the potential for disruption, and hopefully we'll see a robust response if that is what happens.
Yes, well, let's hope so. David, thank you very much indeed. David Spencer, the Head of Crime and Justice at the Policy Exchange, former Detective Chief Inspector of Course.